Today is the 14th of October and today is actually a great day for me. This morning I signed a deal for a property to the value of more than 10 million. It's part of a challenge that I took on like 3 years ago, where I said that I'm going to take 100 Rand, I'm going to turn it into a property portfolio of more than 10 million in less than 5 years. It's now 3 years later and we've got it. And by simply applying the wealth creator strategy. Exactly 6 months from today, we plan to do a little expedition. That's why I'm standing in front of this car. And what we plan is to start here in Pretoria. Let me actually show you quickly. We're going to start here in Pretoria and then travel all the way to meet the group in Namibia, just above Swakopmund at the Enties Bay. From there, we're going to travel into Botswana, Maun, and then up to Kisani. From Kisani, we're going to enter Zimbabwe. I'd like to see the mana pools and stuff like that. And then from there into Mozambique, up to Beira. That is officially where the trip is going to end. From there, we're going to go back, my friend and myself, into Zimbabwe for a week or so. Then enter into Pafuri here in South Africa with Kruger National Park, down to Palabora, back into Pretoria. This whole trip is going to cost me in the vicinity of 300,000 Rand. That of course includes income tax. Now here's the trick. I'm going to do this trip for free. In other words, it's not going to cost me a cent from any of the assets that I've got. I can't use, it's part of a challenge. I can't use my credit cards, I can't use the bank's money, I can't use other people's money. I literally have to create this money out of nothing. And the way that I'm going to do it is by applying the wealth creator strategy. Now, this is an incredible strategy. Let me give you a quick definition of it. It's the intelligent use of limited resources to go from where you are to where you want to be in the shortest possible time with the least amount of risk. So the financial risk we're going to eliminate. And the way to eliminate that is I'm not going to use any money, any security, or stand security for this trip. So that eliminates all the risk. In other words, the way to do it is to apply the strategy. Now, when we look at the strategy, the most important part is the risk. Now, what is risk? According to Warren Buffett, risk is when you do not know what you're doing. Unfortunately, most people have got no idea what they're doing and how they plan their lives in order to get the outcomes that they want. Therefore, the majority of people will never be able to enjoy an adventure, for example, like this. Simply because they have to work, they're in the rat race. There's no ways that they can get out of that rat race. I've been very fortunate. From the age of 37, we've been out of that rat race. And this is what I'd like to share with you. And I'm quickly going to explain how this formula actually works, this strategy. So when we look at risk, Warren Buffett says risk is when you do not understand what you're doing. So the first question then is, but how and what do we need to understand in order to be able to do something like this? Well, I need to have the skills, because the moment that I do not have the skills, I will always rely on someone else to try to make me rich. Either the bank or use credit, or I'm going to use an advisor to tell me, plan for 5 or 10 years to do this trip. I've only decided to do this trip like a week ago, and I immediately, at the moment I haven't got the idea what I'm going to do. But I know, because there's a process that I can follow, which we call the Rainmaker skill, which is part of this wealth creator strategy, that you can start by converting the skills that you need into money. Now, what are these skills? First of all, high value mental skills. In other words, I need to have the right attitude. Attitude represents those skills, because what you think, feel and do is going to be expressed as your attitude. But there's something more important than the way that you think, because your thinking is going to be dependent 100% of your belief systems. So if you do not believe that something like this is possible, you're not even going to consider that. It's a pie in the sky. So it all starts with the right belief system. And unfortunately, we are indoctrinated through the educational and financial system to believe this lie that we are living in a world of scarcity. It's not true. We are living in a world of abundance, but we have to vibrate at that frequency in order to make this our reality. And this is where the trick comes in. So it starts with high value mental skills. And We also call this the higher faculties of the mind, or mind powers, and there's a specific way or a sequence in order to use this to be able to do stuff like that. As soon as that is in place, we need to set a goal. Now, that goal is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. This is what Earl Nightingale is saying. So if I know exactly what I want, now we can start the process, because that progressive realization of a worthy goal means that I have to get the right information, right order for the level of the game that I'm at, and then I have to apply it. The reason why I need to apply it is simply to check my growth. In other words, if I do not get that growth, or say for example I need the 300,000 Rand, I simply break it down to today, where we start with 0, and then I simply draw a line. I make it very, very simple for myself, and I say, okay, what do I need in, say, a week's time? What do I need in a month's time? What do I need in 4 months' time to be able to do this? Once I've got that, now I can start applying the rest of the skills. The first one, high value income skills. The second one, how do I turn that high value income skill, for example, sales. I know how to sell. I know how to market. It's a skill that I've learned like 40 years ago. How to do it, and how to use the internet as an example. Right, how to turn this into a business, because the moment that I turn it into a business, now I can get other people to help me in the business process in order to make sure that I'm going to get to my goal. And then I turn that into my investment. Now in this case, I'm not going to turn it into an investment directly. I'm going to use it. In other words, that's the reason why I have to budget for income tax. So if you're at a 50%, let's say a 45%, make it easy, 50%. If I need 150,000, it means I have to literally double that amount to 300,000 Rand, so that SARS will take that portion, and that leaves me then with 150,000 to fund this whole trip and to be able to do the things that we need to do. So that is the moment that we turn it into the business idea. But here's the trick. Once we've done this trip and we get back in Pretoria, that business is still going to be there, because it has to be a new business. I can't rely on anything that I've got currently. That new business that I've got will be added to this current challenge that I've got, where I want to take the 100 Rand, turn it into 10 million property portfolio that we've done already. But I'd like to see over the next 2 years how far I can take it. I'd like to see if we can't take this whole concept to at least 20 million over that 5-year term. Now, those of you that follows me in this 500K challenge that's free on YouTube, make sure that you go through these videos and that you get more information and equip yourself to see actually what I'm going to do. But that simply means that now the income that I'm going to generate from that new business that I'm going to start, at the moment I haven't really got an idea, but I will have an idea within the next week or so. That income will then go towards that business. That business is going to grow, and after tax, guess what? That becomes the capital, and that capital I need to grow to the 20 million that I want to achieve. Now, when I came up with this challenge like 3 years ago, I remember I was standing in front of that psycat. The comments that I got from Facebook and YouTube were, of course, my students knows me and they know that it's possible and that I'm going to do it. But there's a lot of trollers, I think that is what you call them, that would say the bad things about me and about what I'm about to do, and snake oil salesman and stuff like that. And that's fine. I've got no problem. If a person wants to call me that, then it's okay. But here's the trick. What are the results? And for that reason, I'm doing an audit on this process, to not only say that I've done it, like most of the YouTubers and the podcasters, and it's easy to have a post, but to actually show it through financials and through audited statements, and by having an inner masterclass where they see every single step that you follow and how you follow, and you relate that back to the wealth creator strategy, the formula for riches, the wealth creators method, how you apply that, and how that boils down to funding a trip like this, which is a nice trip. It is something. A friend of mine from Australia actually invited me on this trip, and he said to me, "Honest, don't you want to go with?" I said to Tanya, I think it is going to be fun. And we said yes. But now we're in the planning phase. And now I'm in the thinking phase. In other words, what idea can I take where I can add incredible value to other people? Here's a trick. If you can add serious value to other people, my friend, you'll never be without money. Never. But to be able to do that, you need to grow yourself. You need to develop yourself so that you're in a position where you can help other people. The moment that you can help other people by solving their problems, there's no end to the amount of money that you can make. And this is how you create wealth. You've got two ways to create wealth. The one is the wrong way, by getting into debt and more debt and more debt, like the banks, which forces you into, not actually forces you, but they will tell you the story that you need money to make money, and that, the higher the risk and the higher the growth, and then the financial industry will back this up. It's simply not true. The moment that you add starting value, because that system is based on debt, in other words, they create the debt out of thin air. But the moment that you know how to add value to other people, serious value, you're going to find that you create money even faster than the system can create it. And this is what I want you to know and to understand. Now, I'm going to have a free, we call it the Wealth Creators Road to Riches. It's a masterclass that I'm presenting. I don't know when the next one is going to be. You'll find the link somewhere on this page. If you click on that link and you land on a landing page and there's no date for it, you'll get onto a waiting list. And as soon as we know the date, we're going to open that, send you an email, maybe even a WhatsApp if we can get your cell phone number, and then invite you. In that 3 to 4 hour masterclass, I'm going to take you through, first of all, the problem that the system is creating and what the majority of people have bought into. They've bought into this lie, and now this lie becomes their reality. For the simple fact that if we really look at it, everything starts with your belief, because what you believe is how you're going to think. What you're thinking, your thoughts, is going to be represented by the emotions. In other words, the charge that you've got in the body. That will lead to the actions that you take. That's going to lead to your results. Now, those results can be always measured as your attitude. So your attitude are going to determine how successful you are going to be. So when we look at attitude, there's only 4 classes of attitude: laggers, ziggers, zaggers, and blizzers. The first 2 classes, the majority of people fall into that because they believe that the system is there to help them. The last 2 classes, which is by far the minority of people, believe that we have to take the responsibility to learn the skills, because by learning the skills, this is how we can add value to other people. There's no other way. The system does not want you to believe this. They don't want you to even know this. But the moment that you start seeing the results and you can do stuff like this, my friend, your life is going to change. So whatever you do, make sure to attend that, because in the second part of that masterclass, I'm going to prove to you how the system controls us. And then I'm going to give you a way out. And I'm going to show you how simple it is to apply the formula for riches, how simple it is to apply the Wealth Creator strategy, the Wealth Creators method, how important it is to set goals in the right way. We call it the power goals setting. And when you start bringing all of this together with the talents and the gifts that you can develop, as well as the skills, you'll find that we are living in a world of total absolute abundance. And you are part of that, as long as you do not believe this lie, that there's scarcity. So I'd like you to perhaps change your attitude today and say, but everything was given to us. We are wealth creators. It means that we are the sons and the daughters of the Creator. But we do not make this part of who we really are. We do not believe it. Yeah, of course, we will tell everyone. But deep in us, we think that, no, it can't be true. We do not have this abundance, and there's not a world of abundance. So I'd like you to change your attitude and start by simply attending that Wealth Creators Road to Riches. I guarantee you it's going to change your life, because I'm going to show you in real life how the system is busy confoculating us. Now, confoculate is simply a terminology that I've coined, where it's a mental mindset where you do not know that you don't know what you're supposed to know. The system does not want you to know how to do stuff like this. The system does not want you to know how to buy properties for free without going to the bank. This is what I've done this morning. And I've got proof of that where I signed the contracts with the attorneys, with the sellers, right? If you take an estate agent, we had to cut this estate agent, not his commission. This person was a blockage in this process because he did not want this deal to go through the way that we've structured the deal. But the sellers are happy, I'm happy, we're all happy because it's value both to them, to us, as well as to the greater good. Because I'm going to use this now in the inner circle that we've got, the masterclass, where I'm going to take my inner circle students by showing them exactly what I've done to buy this property without going to the bank. Now, as you can see, my white hair, I'm 67 years of age. Most people at 67, it's the end of their lives. They want to retire. Why the hell will I want to retire? There's so much to do. There's so much experiences to be have. Why retire? I believe this damn retirement story, and at 37 I did that. But 5-6 years later I was so depressed. We're not born to do nothing. We are there to contribute, to help. So first of all, grow and then start helping other people. So if you know someone else that you can invite to this little story, see how it's done, invite them. And then I can't wait to see you there. So click on that button, I'll see you there.